I think it's pretty safe to say that the Judgment Day is the second biggest faction in all of WWE outside of the Bloodline right now, and it wasn't always that way. When Vince McMahon was still in charge of WWE and Edge was leading both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, a lot of questions surrounded Judgment Day and their longevity on WWE programming. Finn Balor then entered the group, kicked out Edge as the leader, and then they added Dominic Mysterio, and they got embroiled in a storyline with Rey Mysterio, which led to Dominic and Rey Mysterio feuding at WrestleMania. And that feud basically is going to continue, has been continuing, and will continue, which I believe will lead to Survivor Series. Needless to say, I think Judgment Day has been a huge success in the Triple H era of WWE, and it's only going to get better. Finn Balor has gotten better. This is the best Finn Balor has looked on the main roster since his first call-up from NXT. Damian Priest, this is the best that Damian Priest has looked on the main roster. Dominic Mysterio, some people are saying that Dominic is the biggest heel in the entire industry with heel heat that rivals MJF on a good night for MJF. And then obviously Rhea Ripley, you know where Rhea was. She was dead to rights in the Vince McMahon era. She has completely transformed her entire presentation on Monday Night Raw, now sitting at the top of the division as SmackDown Women's Champion. The report states that Judgment Day may be adding a new member to the group. And I've been pushing this for a few weeks now, and we talked about this dating back to WrestleMania. Judgment Day may be adding a new member, and NXT talent, as you guys know, are part of this year's draft, including JD McDonough, the fake JD, by the way. JD McDonough, he wrestled on Tuesday night in his last match against Dragon Lee. He got called up to the main roster, was placed on Monday Night Raw, conveniently on the same brand as Judgment Day. There's a Twitter account by the name of Boozer666. Now we're taking stories from random Twitter accounts with no sources. It's crazy. But this one actually makes sense, and apparently this guy is an insider being anonymous on Twitter. Boozer666, which has a history apparently of breaking stories, reports that JD McDonough is being heavily discussed for joining the Judgment Day. I've said this dating back to WrestleMania. This is an absolutely picture-perfect move. This is unbelievable. I mean, you couldn't find anybody more tailor-made for Judgment Day than JD McDonough. I said this on the Superpowers podcast with BC Amplified. Jesse was there as well. My guy Ango. This is a great move. Not only does JD McDonough have ties to Finn Balor, JD McDonough was trained by Finn Balor. He's basically Balor 2.0. And the gimmick that JD McDonough has incorporated for himself on NXT television fits perfectly. In the Judgment Day, he fits exactly in that group with everybody else. You could not pick a better choice than JD McDonough. Now, the question is, and this is something that I've recently started talking about, as Rhea Ripley is the SmackDown Women's Champion, and she's on Monday Night Raw with Judgment Day. What is WWE going to do with the Women's Championships on the main roster? We got Bianca Belair on Monday Night Raw with the Raw Women's Championship, drafted to SmackDown. She's holding the Raw Women's Championship on SmackDown. Now, Rhea Ripley, a SmackDown champion, drafted to Monday Night Raw, so we're on opposite shows here with the Women's Championship. Bianca Belair is wrestling Io Shirai, or Io Sky, at the pay-per-view on Saturday night. And I feel that Io should beat Bianca. Bianca would remain on SmackDown. Io would take the title back to Raw. They could trade her. They could transfer her over there, which would set up the breakup of Damage Control. Raw would get their championship back. Rhea Ripley can move over to SmackDown and join that women's division as its champion. Then that means one of two things. Either Rhea Ripley is going to be removed from Judgment Day or be a affiliate of Judgment Day over on SmackDown. When the time comes when they're over there, they'll reconnect, but she can go over there on her own and defend that championship, or Judgment Day as a group, as a whole, is going to be moved over to SmackDown, and they would continue their feud with the LWO. One of those two things is going to happen. I said have Io beat Bianca, get transferred to Monday Night Raw with the championship, move Rhea Ripley over to SmackDown, and leave Judgment Day on Raw. Rhea Ripley does not need Judgment Day. It's great that she's there. They're better with Rhea Ripley in the group, but does Rhea Ripley need Judgment Day? I don't think so. I think she's over as is on her own, where she could stand on her own 2 feet on Friday night. And who's to say you have to kick out Rhea Ripley of Judgment Day? She could still be a part of Judgment Day on SmackDown. Maybe she forms a subset or a secondary Judgment Day on SmackDown. A lot of people consider her the leader anyway. So Io would be on Raw with the title. Raw would get his championship back. Rhea Ripley would go to SmackDown. They get their championship back. And then you add J.D. McDonough to fill in the empty void left by Rhea Ripley, who would move over to SmackDown. Very simple solution. Very simple solution. But at the end of the day, adding a new member to Judgment Day, they are going to be a thing on TV. J.D. McDonough is absolutely perfect for the group. And adding J.D. McDonough to the group come November, I also made this prediction. Judgment Day, as you see it with J.D. McDonough added to the group, versus LWO, Rey Mysterio, and all of Legado del Fantasma. There's your War Games match for Survivor Series in 2023. Boom. Right there. Love it, love it, love it. We will see what happens, but I do think J.D. McDonough, on his own, not going to get over. But with Judgment Day, people will take him seriously, and he is a fantastic professional wrestler. Roman Reigns. There's this rumor going around in the community that come SummerSlam, Roman Reigns is not wrestling Cody Rhodes, but Roman Reigns is going to go one-on-one with Conor McGregor from the UFC. Conor McGregor is one hell of a hype man, bro. He's talking shit. He's talking about Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman on social media, and this time he seems to be hinting that something is happening at SummerSlam in Detroit. McGregor tweeted, SummerSlam, I'll pull up on the yacht. Roman and Paul out the bus. End quote. McGregor's tweets are seemingly in response to what Heyman said on the Ariel Helwani show last month. And if you guys want to know what Paul Heyman said about Conor McGregor on the Ariel Helwani show, he said this, and I quote, I'm not a grandfather, but I'd appreciate the fact that I'm old enough to be one. Number one, I'm still thriving on top. I would like to see if Conor McGregor at 57 is still thriving at the top of his industry. We'll see if he's even relevant at 57. We'll see if he even lives to see 57 with his lifestyle now. Number two. Number three, it's not that he tweeted to me. I picked the fight with him. Let's be honest. He, as a Roman Reigns wannabe, did the Paul Heyman style, title on each shoulder and, gave a shout out to himself. And of course he did. The ultimate self-promoter in Conor McGregor, standing 9 feet tall and weighing 155 pounds and 5'4". So with that in mind, I said, look at Conor McGregor, a Roman Reigns wannabe. And of course, he said, oh, be careful, Grandpa, I'll break your jaw in 3 places, end quote. Clearly, something's happening. Clearly, something is going to happen. With the sale to Endeavor and merging UFC with WWE, the potential for crossover is just inevitable at this point with Roman Reigns and Conor McGregor, or Roman Reigns and UFC, or Conor McGregor with WWE in some way, shape, or form. Maybe Conor McGregor with Becky Lynch, as they've been linked before in the past. Conor McGregor is not wrestling Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. To me, that is best suited for Cody Rhodes. If it's not Cody Rhodes, I don't know who it's going to be. WWE is going to have a very difficult task of finding somebody to wrestle Roman Reigns and keep that streak alive, that undefeated streak and that title reign alive. If this does happen, it will be a special appearance. He'll show up on Raw, confront Roman Reigns. For all we know, this could be something in the pipeline that they're planting seeds for now for the Saudi Arabia show to take place later this year, because that's exactly when the Endeavor WWE deal is supposed to close at the end of the year. We could see this take place in Saudi Arabia. Conor McGregor versus Roman Reigns. I mean, you thought it was all out of the realm of possibility, or it was ridiculous. I thought it was ridiculous that Logan Paul, a social media influencer, wrestled Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Is it that far gone to think that Conor McGregor could not do the same thing? I absolutely see it happen. It's not going to happen now as he's trying to get back into combat fighting And I don't see it happening now at SummerSlam because WWE's got plans with their actual roster going into SummerSlam. But if Roman is the champion and retains the titles and maintains those championships this year, you better believe you're going to be getting Conor McGregor versus Roman Reigns at some point in the future at a Saudi show. And that is going to be the big kickoff for WWE selling the company to Endeavor and merging with the UFC. It's not happening right now. I don't know why this is even news. I know Conor McGregor likes to get everybody talking, but they are obviously planting seeds. They would not be engaging like this on social media. They would not. Paul Heyman would not have put that out if there isn't something in the works or an idea in the works. Conor McGregor tweeted at Paul Heyman, at Roman Reigns, and then again, 3 or 4 separate times. Something is definitely in the works here, and something more than likely will be taking place upon that sale of WWE when that sale closes with Endeavor. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Let me know what you think down below of the stories today on the podcast. Make sure you guys go out there and check out all the other content on the channel. There's plenty of it. I'll be live tonight for SmackDown. Make sure you guys go out there and follow me on social media as well at JD from NY206. That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. And please hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications, and let's hit that thumbs up. 1,000 likes minimum right here on Off the Script. I'll see you guys tonight live back in the venue for the go-home show for SmackDown right before Backlash on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.